to our regular job, me, high school teacher,
Me, a school psychologist.
We are co-presidents of the Palisades Education Association. So that is our local teachers union, which is also connected with the state teachers union, PSEA.
It really covers a wide variety of teacher concerns, everything from making sure that teachers' paychecks are correct, to making sure that teachers are being asked to do what they're certificated to do, to boring things like having monthly meetings. Pretty much any concerns that teachers have related to their job, they bring them to us to try to help them resolve them.
It's a good question. I think I started out as just a building rep, so there are several representatives at each building that come to these monthly meetings. I started out at the very beginning because I had a few colleagues that were also doing that, and so I said, sure, I'll help out. And as I continue with that for a couple of years, was asked to do this and that, and became more heavily involved until at some point I found myself to be co-president. So it is one of these things. It might sound as if there's a lot of competition for our jobs, but it's a hard job, and so we tend to be, it tends to go to the people that are willing to do it, not necessarily a huge competition. But we do our best to try to support everybody, and I think that's where the main reason why I got into it is because I felt like it was a way where I could help not just my students, not just my department, but where I could benefit the entire school community, and a little bit even beyond, but mostly just get Palisades to be the best school that it could be. Probably some of the more difficult things is when there is issues, legal issues, we would have to be involved in those at times, and it is not always the most enjoyable situation. There is also times where we have to have difficult conversations with teachers and administrators, where we know we're not going to agree on things, but we need to have the conversation anyway. So it's not always a feel-good job where you have wonderful conversations all the time. Sometimes it's the most difficult conversations that are really hard.
And I would actually echo that, because I'm not tend to be a confrontational person in general, but sometimes when you're representing the viewpoints and the needs of your colleagues, you do have to be more firm than I would tend to be normally.
Well, right now we're negotiating the contract, so that's probably top of the list as far as what is a difficult thing to do. So we're trying to get a contract settled for the roughly 150 teachers and professionals in the district. And that involves meeting with the board, and it involves meeting with lots of other people. It is a time-intensive prospect, and it is ultimately one that you know from the beginning you can't make everybody happy, and so it's difficult to feel good even when it goes well, and when it's drawn out as long as it has, because we ended our last contract at the end of June, and we've been without a contract all this year, and we still have not resolved it. So that is a really difficult thing to deal with.
Do you want to add anything?
I would just support Mark in that, in terms of, it's been a long process, and we're working to resolve it, so.